Hello and welcome to Once Upon a Galaxy. I'm Rowan, Astrid sample in her new cat tree, and let's get into it. We get Roulette, Dino, and Galileo. I could take Galileo for a whirl again. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I've been testing the Baron Bach Mr. Fox thing that Hikikomori had mentioned. It's been testing okay, mostly because Baron Bach is the Celestial and Galileo just wants more Celestials. I have missed Anubis a bit, but it's worth giving a whirl just to see how it feels. If we attack over here, we should get a slot buff and a tie as a result of the Puss in Boots, which is pretty darn good. And we'll pick up a Dragonling and get ourselves a treasure. Robin's bow is pretty good, even if it's not one of the best ones to apply our captain power to. It's definitely better than nothing, but we do lose a half heart to Kurt Spice. We get a very bad shop, Pan Shadow, the only uncommon to be seen. And we get the option of a little red or a tink. Technically the tink is a little better, but honestly I'm not even sure if it's better or enough to not try and mise the little red off an opposing chameleon. We will lose another half heart, but honestly I can't say I'm that surprised, seeing my opponent had 2 gilded units. We will end up completing our Daughter of Athena. It's just a case of whether we keep it around based on its stats or get rid of the little red, and I think I'm just going to play it safe and take the little red. We'll take the breadcrumbs just to help us dig for meaningful units and for Celestials to buff our current treasures, but we will lose another half heart to AJ. We'll take a Wand of Shielding, pretty good with our breadcrumbs, and we'll get offered a goodie bag straight out the gate. I'll take the goodie bag and hope it pays off for us, and we'll just do a little more digging. We do get paid off a little bit with the Katamari, and I think given that, I'm just going to cast a spell to buff up the goodie bag, and hopefully this means we don't end up losing the fight to Pistulio. They do have ranged on the Astro, but we do manage to value trade it, but I think we're going down to 1 heart here, which is very unfortunate. Thankfully, we do get a Tin Man to start the turn, so hopefully that will keep us ticking over. We'll get ourselves a Mask of Infinite Rage, and we'll get offered a Mr. Fox to follow it up. I think I'll get rid of the Tink just because of the buffs on the Tin Man from our Robin's bow, and hopefully Shaky doesn't deal the last heart of damage to us. Thankfully, it looks like we're gonna weather the storm here and eliminate them, and hopefully now we can find ourselves a bit of breathing room to get our treasures taken over. We'll pick up the Blackjack over the Tin Man, and we will pick up the Shipshape Inspector over the little guy whose name is escaping me. Unfortunately, we don't really get too much to work with, so hopefully Kurt Spice doesn't take us to the cleaners. They do knock out our Mr. Fox, but it looks like at the minimum this is going to be a half heart. It looks like it's going to be a tie, so happy days. We get offered the Mort, but with the Spellbook Punch card and the buffed up Wand of Shielding, I think I really just want to prioritize getting this board ticking over. I'm going to hit the Mr. Fox and then pick up a Robin just to have another ranged unit, and we'll pick up Baron Bach, which at the present is only summoning Celestial Navigator. Hopefully this is enough to keep us in the game, but the Ghost Armor is looking pretty scary alongside a Sorcerer's Mop. Thankfully our excess summons are going to keep us in this one, and we will half-heart Hippo, but they are going to be a problem going forward. We'll cast Pick a Pack of Peppers on Baron Bach to hopefully get a Celestial, and we do. We get ourselves Conan. We also get offered Crystal and Fortune Teller, but I think given we have the Spellbook Punch card, we are going to take the Crystal as we're going to be incentivized to cast more spells anyway. We do get the Dreamer coming back, which is tempting, but I think here I'm just going to cast the Blessing of Athena on the goodie bag slot, and hopefully just doing a bit of spell spam will keep us ticking over for the time being. Navigator is going to get summoned off Baron Bach, and that'll summon Destiny, which summons Miseria. And it looks like Robin will be plenty to half-heart AJ, removing them from the game. We get Celestial Navigator in our starting shop, but given it's our only Baron box summon, we're going to let it roll. We're going to Abracadabra, and then we're just going to through the Looking Glass the crystal here to turn her into something maybe a bit more meaningful. She turns into a Bahamut, which isn't bad, but I think we're going to take the Frank's Doctor, and maybe that's throwing caution to the wind. But I'm just going to keep casting spells for the time being. I think we're not really super stable, so I think this is just a case of finding some mechanism to get ourselves into a stronger position while we wait on our summoners to tick over. We have 2 ranged, we have an infiltrator, and we have a couple summons, and now we have a little bit of scaling, so now it's just a case of finding ourselves a mob. We'll take the Angelica, but unfortunately we never find ourselves a targeted spell during the turn, but we do find ourselves a Mixo Macho, which is pretty tempting. I'm inclined to cast this on the goodie bag, even though the goodie bag is the biggest one here. I think just play it as a contingency plan and hope things go our way. It looks like we are big enough to eliminate Kurtzspice, and we'll go to turn 12. We'll start off being offered Celestial, which again is fantastic, and we don't really get much to follow it up. We'll Presence of Gaia on the Take a Wee Look-See. We'll put it on the goodie bag slot, I reckon. Sigrund comes back, but I think I'm just casting the Shrink Tea and hoping that this is plenty to get us over the line. Now Hippo is looking very dangerous as a result of that Captain Hook, and unfortunately they have Infinity Mitten, and I think this might be where our game comes to an end. With the Infinity Mitten and the Captain Hook and stealing our Astral Navigator, I think this game is locked down to a second. And yeah, bit of a bumpy start, but we did pull it together in the end. Not the most conventional way to stabilize, but a buffed up wand alongside a breadcrumbs is decent at least, but it did kind of leave us in a spot where we really didn't have an avenue to get those secret rare treasures. Now the fox did steal a couple luckier chests, but we really didn't have anything just to tick it over the edge. Maybe I should have picked up one of those Sigruns, but without any way of knowing the relative strength of our opponent's board, probably just a little safer to stick to what we're at until we get ourselves a mop and start dumping spells on that. But without like Parting Gift, without Mittens, there was no way we could compete with that fully gilded board in the late game. Alright, thanks very much. I'll catch you next time.